Thanks everybody for joining us. This is ClearBlade's ClearLab series session 11, entitled the ClearBlade Command Line Interface. My name is Akash Sharma. I'm an IoT solutions engineer with ClearBlade. We're a company that helps developers build IoT solutions. Today's session is a little bit different from the ones we have covered so far in that it is not about adding features to our temperature monitor system that we've been building incrementally. Rather, today's session is on introducing a productivity tool that's part of the ClearBlade ecosystem, and that's the ClearBlade command line interface that you will get to know as cb-cli. So today we will learn how to use cb-cli to execute specific commands: init, push, and pull. The idea is it is fine to edit code in the console in your browser. That's absolutely one way you can edit code, but you may have your favorite code editor, like VS Code in my case, and you may want to use that for your code editing because you have lots of productivity features set up around it. In that case, what you want to do is write the code locally and then be able to push it up into a system in the cloud. And that's what cb-cli allows you to do. The first thing you need to do is install cb-cli, and you can find it by going to our GitHub page. And let's go there right now. So I'm just going to search for ClearBlade cb-cli. That takes us straight to our GitHub page, or it finds our GitHub page. And if you go to the right, you'll find releases. And the latest release is 9.7.3. Let's go there. And depending on what your operating system is, you want to download one of these tar gz files and extract on your system. And that will give you the command line binary that you need to use. And within each of these is a README file as well. For Windows users, I will mention a couple of things. First of all, you can natively extract tar.gz files on Windows 10. If you use PowerShell, you have to do a little bit of searching on Stack Overflow or Google to find out how to do that, but it can be done. Let me actually download that Windows zip or tar, the compressed file, and show you that what you will get is the executable. So you need to place that executable somewhere in your folder system and then add the path to the executable to your path environment variable, similarly with what you would have to do with another operating system. Once you have the cb-cli tool installed, you can know that it's installed by going to your terminal and type in cb-cli version. And you can see in my case, I have an older version installed. You should see 9.7.3 or newer, depending on when you're watching this video. And then you know that the tool is installed. And the fact that I have a slightly older version here, it's okay, because for what we need to see today, my version will work just fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do what we do in every session, and that is start with our system. So attached to this video, you should find a completed copy of the system that we've been working on all the way through, built through the end of session 10 as a zip file. Find that, and then let's go to platform.clearblade.com. And if you haven't done so, log in. I've already logged in once. My token is stored. And let's go ahead and add our system. If you already have temperature monitor built through to the end of session 10, continue using that. If not, rename your existing one to something like temperature monitor in progress and add the completed one that's attached as a zip by going to add system from a file, browse to wherever you downloaded the zip file, pick it. Don't have to extract the zip as always. And there you have the system uploaded. Okay, So I'm going to split my screen so that you can see my terminal and you can see the system in the cloud platform. I have an empty folder here where I want to pull the contents of my system so that I can edit them on my machine using my my code editor. Typically, this empty folder that I have would be my Git workspace. So I would be able to do something like git status and find out which branch I'm on, if I have any uncommitted files with changes, those kinds of things. Whatever your source code control system is of choice, Subversion or Git or Mercurial, whatever it may be, you would have a local workspace and you would want your cb-cli tool to pull into the same local workspace. That way you can have your code edited locally, committed to your source code control repository, and pushed up to the system. In this case, I don't have a Git workspace here. We're not really focused on learning about Git in this session or any other source code control system, but that's what you would typically do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start off by pointing my workspace here at this system. To do that, I use the command cb-cli init. Even before that, if you wanted to know what commands are available, you could do cbcli --help. And that gives you some of the immediate commands that are available to you. Today, we're only going to focus on init, push, and pull. And there's a lot of additional parameters you can pass for push and pull that we'll see. But let's start with cb-cli init. And that is synchronizing this workspace to this system. First of all, I'm asked, what is the platform URL? I happen to know it is https platform.clearblade.com. My email address, what I log in as there. So use your email address. System key available right here. Copy, paste it here. And my password, so you'd use your password. Whatever you use to log into the system, into the platform. And now we are synced up. Now, if I search, you'll see there's several folders and files that have been added. And if I list those in an organized manner, you'll see that a lot of these match the resources that are part of your system. Let's take a look inside code. And you can see that there are two subfolders, libraries and services. Let's look inside of those. Let's say services. There's nothing there. So all we've really done is synced up our workspace to the system, but the actual resources that are in the system are not here yet. So that's what I'm going to change. I'm going to pull those resources in using cb-cli pull. Now, before I do this, let me actually suggest you look at the help that comes with cb-cli pull --help. You can see that there are lots of options on what you can pull. If I executed cb-cli pull -all, that pulls everything from the system to my machine. This is an option you want to be careful with because you may have a system that has collections that have large amounts of data, and maybe you don't want to pull all the data. You want to pull all the code. You want to pull the libraries and the services maybe, and maybe you don't want to pull all the data. In that case, rather than doing cb-cli pull all, you might pull all libraries, all services, and maybe you even want the schemas for the collections, then you can pull dash pull cbcli pull dash collection schema, and then pick one after the other the collections for whom you would like the schemas. And that way you can actually pull exactly what you want and it would go faster. It can take quite a while to pull a system with large amounts of data in it. That's not the case here. Our system has not that much data, so I'm going to go ahead and do cbcli pull dash all and let it go through its paces. And once it's done, if I go again to code services, I can see that I have several new folders appear and they match services that I had as part of my system. So at this point, I can actually go back to my workspace folder and launch my code editor. And you've heard me say before, if you don't have a favorite editor of choice yet, do consider VS Code very, very easy to work with. So let me go ahead and have VS Code open. And here is my folder structure, code, services. Let's look at get temperature. You see that get temperature, the folder has two files in it. It's got a JavaScript file and it's got this JSON file. Let's go to get temperature here. And let's look at the JSON file to begin with. I'm going to go to the advanced tab. There's the JSON file. And you can see that what the JSON file contains are some of the settings that you find in the advanced tab. For example, concurrency 0 means infinite actually. Execution timeout of 60, as you can see right there. And then this is the list of dependencies, and you can see them listed here. So some of the settings that accompany the service are in the JSON file. But now let's look at the JavaScript file itself. And that matches this. I'm going to go ahead and make a small change. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. And obviously it's not here, but I'm going to use cbcli to push the change. Now I can actually bring up a terminal right here within VS Code and cbcli push dash service get temperature to push just this one. I got to turn off that ding. I'll do that later. You see that the change is not here yet, so be very careful. At this point, if you hit save or save and test, you can actually overwrite the change that you pushed. The reason we don't see it is we haven't refreshed our browser tab. Let's go ahead and do that. And sure enough, there you see benign change. Let me go ahead and make another change, but this time in the console, and I will save that there. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull that with cbcli pull dash service get temperature. And there you see benign change 2 has appeared. So hopefully this tells you how you can use cbcli to push and pull code that you're editing locally. Now let's take a look at data. So I'm going to go to collections, and I'll go to device temperatures. And over here, under data, device temperatures, you see that what you have here is a JSON file that contains the schema of the collection and it's got this items item that contains the actual records. There are no records, so hence you don't see anything in the items item. First thing I'm going to do is add a column. So let me go ahead and do that by copying this section. So what I copied is the configuration for the name column. It includes its type. It includes the fact that it is not a primary key. So I'm going to add another column, and I'll just call this something. And it too is not going to be a primary key. I'll save it. And this time I'm going to use cb-cli push dash collection schema and device underscore temperatures. Let me make sure I got that all. I did. Now if I refresh, you see that I've got another column. That's just something I wanted to show that we could do. Let's not do that actually. Save it. And let me push the old schema back. And refresh. And you see that something has gone. Now let's add some data into this collection from the console. I'm going to go ahead and add a row. Let me pick a time. It doesn't really matter. Value and device 2 or something like that. Okay. So let me go ahead and pull that data with cb-cli pull dash collection device temperatures. And now you see that one item has showed up here. Now I'm going to add an item by essentially getting rid of my item ID, change this value to 456. The item ID is a unique identifier, a UUID that's generated to uniquely identify this record. Now, if I'm going to add an item and I don't provide an item ID, that gets generated for me. But what I want you to notice is that this data gets appended to what's already in the collection. So cb-cli push dash collection device temperatures. And if I refresh, did I not do that right? Ah. Typo. Let's do that again. And there you go. You have a second record. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull the data again. Let me make sure that it looks okay. So cb-cli pull dash collection device temperatures. So there's the data. This time, I'm going to take an item with the item ID as provided and change the value. And I will push it, cb-cli push dash collection device temperatures. And this time you should end up with just 2 records and the value has changed. One last thing, let me take one of these records change the item ID. This is something that you probably won't do, but I just wanted to point out that it can be done. I just changed the item ID, save it, and let me push it. And this time we should end up with a third record. And there it is. So that is CbCli in a nutshell. We've talked about initializing your workspace to sync it up to a system in your platform, using cbcli pull to either pull an entire system, if you did cbcli pull all, or you can pull specific resources, collections, code, libraries, and so on. And you can push all. That's something that you probably won't do very often, but more importantly, you can specifically push data or code using cbcli. I hope that was useful, informative, and I look forward to seeing you guys at the next session. Thank you.